Welcome back to my channel. Today's kind of a weird day. It's kind of a hard day. Wrath, anger. But considering that yesterday all I wanted to do was launch my channel and I got 2 videos out, I'm just going to keep moving forward because even on my darkest days, on my worst days, on my hard ones, I still feel that I am here to help as many people as I can. However, whoever, whatever way that is. So now that I have my YouTube channel, now that, that first kind of moment of fear has been surpassed and the video's out, thank you for anybody who watched it. I really appreciate it. It's definitely not my best reading, definitely not the ones that I intend to kind of keep moving forward with. And so hopefully you'll see my style evolve and change and incorporate more and more depth and, all that good stuff as I go. And if you've ever done a one-on-one reading with me, we've gotten pretty in depth with some of them, and that's really, really cool. And that's a little bit harder to do when you're talking to a mass. So please work with me as I'm learning how to handle, a more generalized crowd. While we're kind of in that vein, I feel compelled to share with you, this is what you see is what you get. I'm going to be true, I'm going to be straight, I'm going to be authentic. If I'm having a hard time, I'm going to tell you, because people need to know that we're all just people, and we're all just here kind of figuring out what we're supposed to be doing while we're here as people. And sometimes that's harder than others. I don't really know how else to say it, but I feel right now a lot of people think that with everything going on in the world, they have to maintain this kind of facade of everything being fine and perfect, and there is great strength in being able to admit that you just need some help. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I tried to do a lot of things by myself, and I learned after going through them all by myself that moving forward and still choosing to do things by yourself is a trauma response. And one of the reasons that I felt so compelled to come on and talk about all of this today is because I was talking to a friend this morning, and he mentioned that, I've been through some rough stuff. And I said, oh yeah, I've been through some pretty messed up stuff too. I'm still trying to figure it out. And the response was, I bet you mine's worse. And the only thing I could really respond with was, trauma's not a competition. And we all have to go through really hard life lessons, and it sucks to have to see them as lessons, but that's what they are. That's how I see them anyway. Yes, we want everything to be joyful, and we want everything to be easy, and we want everything to be smooth, but we learn so much more about ourselves when we are faced with things that don't go right. We learn so much more about ourselves when we don't succeed on the first time, and we have to be persistent in our goals moving forward. And so when I say that tough times, I don't wish for anything bad to happen to anybody. But every single tough situation is meant to teach you humility. So with that said, today I feel compelled to share that I am not going to be perfect all the time. I'm not going to be even presentable all the time. Take me as I come, because this is what it is. And I just want people to understand that not everything in life has to be a production. Not everything in life has to be the absolute best it could ever be. At every single moment, in every single deliverable. It's just impossible. And if you can do that, you're probably not from this planet. And I'm not doubting that either, don't get me wrong. That's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother line of thing. But for now, I just want to pull some cards and see what comes out, because it makes me happy, and today, like I said, is kind of a rough day. So what I first want to do is figure out how many skips I'm going to do in my playlist. It's on shuffle, my reads playlist. 3. Ooh. So Phish, everything's right. I believe everything that happens in a reading is part of the reading, and so as soon as I played that, a door opened. So, welcome. Spirit, welcome to my space. I ask you to give us clear and concise messages to help everybody listening move forward in a positive direction. Please continue to block those who wish me harm and wish to cloud messages that I receive with ill intention. So what is fueling the situation is introspection written reverse. So that means that somebody else is going with it. And somebody else, this is my Hermit card, somebody else is kind of taking the time that they need to figure out where it is they're going and what they want to do. So that's all right. Maybe somebody's feeling lonely and isolated. What is changing? The Empress. She came out yesterday too. Things right, so just hold me tight. What is being illuminated? Somebody else is being rigid as hell. Also the Seven of Wands in my deck. Somebody else is putting up firm boundaries. What is blocking the situation? Choices. Now in my deck, I have multiple words that kind of overlap, but they all mean very, very different things. So choice is having to choose between two. This is also the Two of Wands. So we have the Seven of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Empress, and the Hermit so far. We still gotta take what's gonna come to balance. But what's blocking the situation is that somebody, I mean, in the Two of Wands, there's literally somebody that needs to walk through the wands. And he's also planning. He came out yesterday, haha. Two of Wands came out in yesterday's reading. But he's planning, he's looking down the path, he's, planning a journey, he's planning, he's, what's the word? Foresight. Foresight's the word I needed. Looking to the future. So maybe somebody made the wrong choice and they feel like they can't retract it, or they can't go back. They can't get back on track to make the right choices. I don't know. We're going to clarify with traditional tarot, but let's see what's going to come to balance in this situation. And I feel like I need to give one more of these. These cards really don't shuffle that well. I have another deck that I want to use to make these because the backs are prettier and they just bend easier. These don't bend that well. All right, so what's coming to balance? There's been a lot of Trey and Phish coming on lately. My own theories. Destiny and Karma. Wow, that is a power couple to be coming into balance. With community on the bottom. Community in reverse. Somebody else's community is changing. Wow, those are some heavy stuff. Alright, so. Okay. I also just got really, really hungry all of a sudden. Like, all of a sudden I'm just like, eat something. So maybe someone's feeling unsatiated? I don't know. Hungry. Stay hungry, stay humble. Alright, so introspection in reverse. That is what's fueling the situation. Somebody's looking at something from afar. Somebody's going within to really kind of evaluate what it is, and it's turning the cycle. Somebody is realizing that they... It turns... I just got chills. And what I love about that is we have 9, 10, and 11. 9, 10, and 11. So right in an order. So somebody went inside to really figure out what makes their world turn, what makes their wheel turn. And it could be anything. But I feel like what's happening is that they're realizing that what they always thought it was is changing. Their preferences are evolving. So what is changing the situation is this Empress. This Empress is also creativity for me. Now this is Taurus and Libra. The Hermit is Virgo energy. So can you please clarify this creativity? Clarify the Empress? What's changing is creativity. Creativity in what? In rest. In healing. There he is. So I feel like someone's coming up with a creative new way to deal with an authoritative figure. And maybe it comes down to this wheel turning. Maybe somebody is trying to get somebody important to see a different way, a different perspective. and they can't do it. So they've taken some time. They're really, figuring it out how it is that they can really communicate or really express what it is that they need to. And hopefully, I feel like I feel compelled to say to like get somebody on their own, to get someone on their side, but I don't know if it's necessarily that. So let me see, with the Seven of Wands in reverse, which means somebody else is establishing boundaries. And what I like about it is that I feel like whoever is going within is the same person that is being rigid in their boundaries, the same person who can't really open up their mind to anything other than what they know. And maybe that's where this wheel is hopefully turning. Maybe this time out is helping them, this time out is helping them to relearn some things. Ten of Pentacles. They're rigid about... Some people are very, very traditional. Hierophant. And I feel like this is a very broad generalization, but I feel like it's a very masculine mentality to be very A plus B equals C. To be very, and that's always true. That's always true. But I feel like males have a much easier time of like, when I put in my effort, I see my rewards pay off, and that comes with that emperor authority. Remember, queens generally are influence. The female can influence the male, but in any kingdom, the male gets to make the decision. Now, again, that's a very general thing, and I'm not saying that that's how every relationship is. And sometimes females have to be both the male and the female energies in something, and that's a different situation. So please do not look too deep into these. If you really have a problem with the way I explain something, get hold of me in comments or reach out to me in Facebook or whatever you want. But just so you know, this is a really, really loose generalization. Everybody has both masculine and feminine energies within them. Sometimes in any relationship, the power dynamic is constantly in flux, and that's just fine. But what I'm saying here is that a lot of females have to turn to alternate routes because the ways that are supposed to work don't always go as planned for us. They don't always work. And I could go on so many tangents. I've been called a bitter feminist for so many things, when really I just want to say, man, life is easier if you have a penis, okay? And it's because people have tried to, get me pregnant and keep me trapped and locked into relationships I didn't want to be in. And everybody thought that I could be bought. And I couldn't be bought. And because of that, I had to find a new way to go for my Ten of Pentacles, because the traditional way of working 40 hours, which turned into 60 hours a week, and having multiple jobs and, just trying to do whatever I could to make it work, it didn't work for me. That wasn't life. That's not how I wanted to live. So my wheel has already turned, and I feel like a similar situation is happening for somebody else, because again, they're going within, they're trying to figure out what they can do differently. And maybe I still see the community on the bottom of the deck, so maybe their community has always really encouraged or enabled or facilitated this particular way of doing things. And it's not wrong, I'm just saying that it's not right for everybody. So what's blocking this situation is choice. And I feel like in this case, it's somebody either it's too many cards, not making a choice at all, or vacillating in their choice, or regretting their choice. Maybe they committed to one way of doing things, and then they got into it, and they're like, oh, maybe this isn't the way this is going to go. This isn't how that's supposed to work. And that's okay. As long as you decide, when you realize that, to walk the other way. Some people still go into it. It's like, I just imagine somebody walking through the dark with hopes of finding daylight. And, if you think of it like that, you're always going to... The sun's always going to rise, so you're always going to get to the other side of it, but what I guess I'm trying to say is that walk in the dark doesn't have to be quite so treacherous. So the Six of Pentacles just come out, and I love it because it's equal give and take. It's getting what you give. So maybe somebody made a choice, and they're not getting what they thought they would get for it. And it's blocking them because all their life, maybe A plus B did equal C. And this is the first time they did A, they did B, and C's not coming along. So finally we have Destiny and Karma. Now, destiny means that it's just part of your, I think of life as an adventure. It's part of your adventure. And apparently it's part of someone's karma. And in my deck, destiny is 14, which is temperance. And I say that because temperance is this moderation, this balance, this just kind of level of acceptance of all things that occur within your adventure of life. All these hard days that I'm having are part of my destiny, because they're helping. Every single moment I'm in it is helping to shape me into the person that I'm meant to be, into my destiny, into the person I'm destined to become. And I know that person's beautiful. I know that all of this hard stuff, some of it may be karma, which is justice in my deck. But I also know that karma, in my opinion, kind of goes back to how we learn our lessons of balance. And the way I feel about karma is that for us to learn, you need to be on both sides of the coin, of every coin. So if you get dumped, you also have to be the dumper before you can understand truly both sides. And so a lot of times, if something bad happens, it's easy to focus on all the bad things that happen, but I'm sure that you were also on the head side of those coins too, and you just didn't realize it because you just were kind of taking it in stride, and everything was great. And people, it's like you only pray when you're in a hard time. Expressing your gratitude ahead of time is what's really important. Being thankful that things are going as they should. And when they don't, understanding that you have a choice to be a victim in it, or you have a choice to understand that this is how you made somebody else feel. This is what you did to somebody else. And that's not always the case. Okay, so I'm talking about the thing that comes to mind is like petty stuff. And I feel like that's what a lot of karma is. Now there's like past life karma and all these other, types and forms and repercussions, or ripples, energetic ripples, if you want to call them that. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about a destined balance here. And I got a few cards that came out, so we'll see what's here. The Two of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. I feel like, and this is my synchronicity card on the bottom, so that is a key to me to just move forward with whatever you feel. So in this case, I feel like somebody had to follow their intuition. Penny's barking. That's a confirmation to me. Oh. Hi, John. We're just gonna listen to Penny for a minute. Sirens by the String Cheese Incident is playing. This is just what she does. Oh, okay. Somebody gave something a second chance. 'Cause if today had been my last year, there's just something I wanted to say. Somebody had to give something another chance. And they thought that it was something that it wasn't. And it was part of their karma. Maybe they've done this to somebody else and it was time for somebody to do it to them. To invest into what they thought was the right thing. And to still leave them out in the cold, high and dry. Because they couldn't make a choice. And they had too much. They were juggling two things. I just got this, this image of a guy who, has a side chick, and, the one side chick finds out about, the real partner, and then the the side chick and the partner kind of band together and flip this guy in his ass, and then he's left out in the cold by both of them. That could be you or that could be somebody else, but I feel like that's the kind of karma that you're dealing with. That's not a very positive reading. So let me get one more card. Hard work. Hard learning, mastery. Somebody just mastered a hard life lesson about being left out by somebody they've invested in. The Emperor makes his grand appearance again. That poor guy. Well, all I want to say is follow your heart and you'll never go wrong. It might take you on a detour, it might take you on the scenic route, but you'll never go wrong. And you'll end up not in the wrong place, you'll end up exactly where you're meant to be. And whether it's ideal or not, it's perfect or not, it's where you're meant to be. It's part of your destiny. Give me one more card. High Priestess. The internal knowing. The internal knowing, intuition. These are very intuitive cards. Someone is starting to trust their intuition. They didn't before. Because it was the old way, they didn't before. The song Your Mind by Phantogram. Don't treat people like options.